secondary sites. And this is the hierarchy for that large office. For example, TCS or HCL, who has like, they have like more than 200,000 devices all over the globe. So they will have CAS and primary site server, and then they have secondary. Okay. This is also one of the pictures of hierarchy. The central will be sitting on the top of the hierarchy, then multiple primary site, and then secondary site. The reason for central administration site is, we discussed yesterday, if you have more than 100,000 devices, right, or more than one primary site, right? If you have more than one primary site, then only you need to have central administration site. Otherwise, central administration site is not needed at all. Okay. So we discussed about the Sccm capability, what Sccm can do. So it can do asset management, it can perform deployment of application, patches, operating system, it can do compliance setting, and security. These are the four basic functionalities of Sccm. Now, when we talked about the lab setup, so we discussed about the hardware and software configuration. So we need to have at least 1.4 gigahertz processor speed. Either you can take AMD processor or Intel processor. The RAM speed should be minimum 2 gigabyte of RAM and 50 gigabyte hard disk. This is, I'm talking about primary site server. Okay. And one SQL server needs to be there. So operating system, you can take either Windows Server 2008 and above. And SQL, you can take SQL 2012 and above. Okay. So we will have our lab like this, DC. One server will be like your domain controller. The other server will be your SCCM, and the third server can be your database. Okay, there could be one more server here, and these are the server, and one client computer, either Windows 7 or Windows 8. All of them will be joined to one LAN network. Okay. Okay. If you don't have hardware, then what you can do, you can put database on the same server on SCCM itself. So you don't need database on a different server. Okay. So that's how you can set up your lab infrastructure. So let's go ahead and discuss the computer configuration, what you guys have. So I would like to know from Vikram, what is the computer configuration you have? So
I have a laptop which has a 8 GB RAM and it has a Windows 10.
Windows 10, okay. Raghavendra?
Yeah, I have 16 GB i7 processor and 256 gig hard disk.
Very good. And who else? Srinivas.
Yeah, Kashyap, yesterday we spoken, right? We need to go with Azure temporary because I'm there in office.
Okay, and you are going to do the local lab setup as well, right?
Yeah. Anyway, my system having that 16 GB RAM and i3 processor. So like Skylab. So.
No worries. Now, so Vikram and Srinivas, both of them can go to cloud. They can set up their servers in cloud. Raghavendra, you can do the local lab setup. Okay,
Sure.
because you have 16 gigabyte of RAM and i7 processor, it is more than sufficient to handle the load of SCCM servers and domain controller and database all together. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I would like Vikram to share the screen, and I will help you how to set up your lab in Azure, and side by side Srinivas can perform, or after this session Srinivas can also perform the same step to set up the lab in Azure.
Okay,
Right,
sure.
Vikram?
I'm just checking if I can do a local lab setup on my laptop, because I'm just checking what processor and how much I have. Let me see.
Okay.
Because I think a local lab will be better than going on the cloud, right?
Yeah, local lab is always better because you have like 6 months trial period. You can keep practicing uh, for the next 6 months. In Azure setup, you get only 30 days trial, and that's free of cost for 30 days. But after 30 days, either you need to pay or you need to create another account to to set up the whole lab again.
Okay. So it looks like I have 16 GB memory, and there's one processor installed, which is I think it's i5 or i7. I am not sure which it is.
Okay, fine. So I will give you the setup for VMware, for Windows Server 2012 R2 and
Okay.
SCCM setup, so you can install those things on your
Okay.
laptop. Yeah. So let's get Srinivas.
Yeah, sure.
I can make you presenter, and you can share your screen so that you can go about it. Okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah, are you able to see my screen, Kashyap?
Yes, we are able to see your screen. Now, what you need to do is you go to google.com. Yeah, you are on Google. Yeah. And there you type in free Azure trial, something like that. You need to click on below, which says now below, create your Azure free account today. Yeah.
Okay.
Start free. Okay, before you go here, okay,
Okay.
create one Microsoft account. Okay, click on create new, create one, yes. Give your details, okay, and make sure you use the new one. Okay, don't
Okay.
use the existing one. Create a new one. Okay.
Okay. It's fine, right? At Hotmail, I can mention.
At outlook.com.
Yeah, I just logged in. I think we need to.
You created the Microsoft account, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, so PAN also mandatory for this.
Yes, PAN card is mandatory actually.
It's mandatory you provide that card number.
Yeah, wait. Yes, wait. I'll give you my credit card. Wait. Okay, so you can put in 40
Okay.
42 7602 5818 3731. Expire expiration date is 70707 2018. CVV number is 063. Name on the card you can put Kashif. You can give your address.
Okay.
I'll give you a pin on the chat window.
Okay.
You need to enter that pin now.
Okay. Can I go at next, right?
Yes. You received my message, right?
Yes.
Okay. You just need to copy and static password. Static password. Copy and paste it there.
Submitted.
Yes. What happened? Try again. Uh, Go down. We found existing payment method to verify your account. Go down.
Yeah, this is
Okay. Click on next. Accept. Sign up. Maybe later. Okay. Go to the virtual machine. Click on virtual machine. Okay. Click on the bell icon which is there on the top. Yeah. Okay. Add. Choose Windows Server. Choose Windows Server. That's there, right there below. You have the Windows. Yes, that one. Windows Server 2012 R2 data center. Click create. How come it's showing you are currently signed with hotmail.com directly with does not have any subscription? You have other directories you can switch to, or you can sign up with a new subscription. Okay. Wait, give me 1 minute, please. Can you log out and log in back to Azure? Mm. On the top, type in portal.azure.com. Okay, yeah, great. So 13,300 credit is given by Microsoft. Okay, now let's go to virtual machine.
This one, right?
Left hand side. So this is your Azure portal, guys. At the left hand side, you have navigation section wherein you can navigate to virtual machine, virtual network, Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, and other resources. Now we need to create a couple of virtual machines here. So let's create one by one. So click on add and click on the Windows icon, yes, and choose Windows Server 2012 R2 Data Center Edition. We can also take 2016, but we are going with 2012 R2 Data Center Edition. Okay, so click on create. Now the name of our first server can be domain. You can type in domain there. Yes. Now username can be your username Srinivas. Yeah. And put your password, anything of your choice, but it has to meet with the requirement criteria. Your password must contain one capital, one special character, one number. Yeah. And make a note of your username, password, and email address on a notepad.
Sure.
Now create new. We need to create a resource group, a group where we can put our virtual machines in. So group name can be like anything of your choice, but I would suggest to go with a short name that can be Pepsi for the namesake. Now location can be Canada East, because in Canada East data center we get good amount of servers to create. Canada East. So we'll put our servers in Canada East data center. Click OK. So domain controller does not need a high configuration. So 1 core processor and 3.5 gigabyte RAM is more than sufficient. And you see the price for this server is 7,032 per month. That's Indian rupees, right? So choose that one. Yeah, take that one, click select. So this is a template we need to choose what kind of server you want. Okay, and availability, can you click on that? Availability set, none. You can create a new availability set to No availability zone are available for this location. You have selected to view location. Fine, no worries. We don't want high availability thing. Storage manage disk. Go down. Auto shutdown of monitoring. You can disable that one. Go down. Okay. Click OK. Now this is the summary, and you see if you keep your servers turned on for 1 hour, they are going to charge you at least 9 rupees 45.18 paise per hour for this server. Okay, 9.4518. So make sure we need to use our credit 13,300 which we got wisely. Okay, as and when it is needed, we will turn on the server, we will practice. Once our session is over and practice is done, we will stop the server so that we are not getting charged unnecessarily. Okay,
Okay.
so choose that box which says I will give share my contact, and click on create. So that's the first server we are creating. Now let's create second server. That's going to be our database virtual machine. Add. If you guys want to do a local plus Azure, this is the setup, guys. For Azure, you can perform the same step. We will. You can watch the video. Video will be given after this session, and then you can perform the same action to set up your Azure lab. You need a credit card, okay? And don't worry about credit card. It is just for the verification. They are not going to charge anything from your account. So it's like only for the verification purpose. The second server name can be database. No, don't put any capital in between. DA. No. First letter is fine, but not yes. Database. Username can be same, Srinivas, and same password. I would like you to make a note of this username and password after you create all the servers, so that you don't unexpected. Please check the deployment status. Click on use existing. No, use existing, because we have already created our research group. So choose that one and choose Canada East. We'll put our server in Canada East. Same data center. Click OK. Choose the same configuration, but in production you must need to choose a computer which is having more RAM, like 8 GB of RAM or 16 GB of RAM. But for lab, it is okay to choose that one, because we need to create other servers as well. If you keep on choosing high configuration of computer, you will run out of the credit. Okay, so choose, but ideally you should choose database at least 88 GB of RAM. That's fine. Then next, go down. Yes, click OK. Yeah, create. Now, what does it say? Unable to get deployment status. Click on that. What happened with this? Okay, it's still loading up. Let's go to virtual machines and see. Okay, so domain is creating, you see, creating. So that's fine. Now let's create one more server. Windows Server 2012 R2 data center, not 8, R2 data center edition. Up, Windows Server 2012. Yes, that's the one. Create. Now SCCM. This is going to be our SCCM primary site server. Keep capital because we are using the name abbreviation, right? Yes. Yeah. Now username can be same username and same password. Use existing. Pepsi. Put them in Canada East data center. You can take the same one, the second one.
Yeah, SCM is same, right?
Yes. Yes. Select. Yes. No worries. Yeah. Go down and choose disable. Yes. And click OK. Yes. Click create. Okay. Create one more server. Windows Server 2012 R2. Here you can put secondary site. So a sec site. Sec SITE. SEC SITE. Okay. Same username and the same password. Same, yeah. So we left with only one. So we can create this server only, but after this we will not be able to create any more server because we left with the only one server.
Right.
Yes. Choose that one. Go down. That's none already. Yeah. Disable. Yeah. Click OK. And choose. I'll give yes. So there you go. We have created 3 servers. Let's click on virtual machines. Now all of them are getting ready. Database domain and SCCM getting created. Okay. Click on the bell icon. Unexpected error getting deployment status. Please check the deployment status. Okay. Click on one of them and unable to get the deployment status. Created. Okay, it is getting created, but the status is not coming. So that's okay. Fine. refresh, click on refresh on the top below. Okay, fine. Click on virtual machines. Yeah. Left hand side, virtual machine. Okay, now you would see
Yeah,
the
running.
devices have changed the status from creating to running. Okay, so that's good. Now the people who are going to do the local lab setup, I'll send one email with the links. Okay, let me do that. Vikram and Srinivas. No, Vikram and Raghavendra.
Yeah, for me also, can you send us, because I used to go with
Yes.
local setup
Yeah.
as well.
Yes. Yeah. Send me your email address, guys, so that I can send you the details.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Vikram.
Actually, I have
Okay.
2016 IS4. So can I use that?
2016. For which one?
The data center evaluation.
You have? Okay, you can
Okay.
use that. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Srinivas, Vikram, and I did not receive the email address from Raghavendra.
I sent you. The same I replied SV Soft Solutions.
Okay, you replied on that one. Okay, I thought you. Can you send it on the chat as well?
Yeah, sure.
Um,
I have replied in short.
okay. Okay, so I just sent the link to all of you guys. What you need to do is you need to, for the local setup, local lab setup, you need to install VMware. Okay, and on VMware workstation you can create your virtual servers, all your one server can be your domain controller, other can be your data center, and third server can be your Sccm, and one virtual machine, either Windows 7 or Windows 10. You can choose that one. Okay.
Sure.
Now, so let's go ahead and log into secondary side. We don't need to run this at the moment because that site we need it later, after like 10 session from now. So stop this, right? So when this is the right procedure, guys, when you are not using the device, if it is not being used, you can choose that box and click on stop. Shutting down the server will not help. Okay, you need to stop it, then only Microsoft will not charge you, otherwise they will keep on charging. Okay, now right click on domain, and we need to set up our domain controller and click on connect. Yes, so basically it downloads one RDP file. You just need to open that one and connect with the username and password which you have chosen during the setup. And I would like you to make a note of your username and password. You are in Cognizant?
Yeah.
Okay. My brother is also in Cognizant in
Oh.
US. Okay, so yes, type in. No, that is not the username which you have chosen during the setup. I think it was just Srinivas. Yes, and the password.
Which
Not
one, Anish?
no.
It's taking domain,
Yeah,
right?
no worries. Mm, yes. Okay, so this is your first server, right?
Yes.
This is your domain. So let's click on local server, and you see it is saying Windows update. Install updates automatically. We don't want to do that automatically. We want Sccm to manage the updates. Yes. So change setting and choose never check for update. So we don't want our devices. No. You don't need to check those boxes. Yeah. We don't want our devices to go out to the internet and get the patches from there. Rather than Sccm will be the one which will be deploying the updates to the computers. Clear? Close it. Now below in the same section you have IE enhanced security configuration. Yes, click on that and turn off. Why? Because if you keep that turned on, whenever you are going to any website, it will keep on asking, do you really want to go to the website? It is not added to the trusted zone. You need to add the website and then only you can go. So we don't want that pop-up coming again and again. Okay. Now Ethernet 2, which says IPv4 address at the left hand side. Yeah, we don't want the IPv6. So just disable IPv6. Yes, click OK.
No need to configure IPv4, right?
No. It's coming from DHCP. Refresh. Yeah, cancel. Close it. And click on refresh on the top. Yes. Now, these are the settings you need to perform in all the 3 computers. But before you go there, we need to have our domain controller ready, right? We don't have any domain controller. So whenever you are setting up your primary site server, SCCM site needs to have a domain controller so that it can communicate with domain controller and get the data from there. Your users information, your devices information, your security groups information. So be com- it will completely rely on domain controller. Active Directory, basically Active Directory is the database which contains your user, computer and group related information. So SCCM will keep on syncing the data from Active Directory. Okay, so that will be the data source point for SCCM. So let's create our domain. So click on manage, add roles and feature, next, next, next. Choose second option, Active Directory Domain Services. This is the role which we need to install before installing our domain controller on any server. So this is the basic requirement. This is the foundation of domain controller. Without this role, you cannot proceed further. Now click next, 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 install. While it is installing, I would like you to connect to other 2 boxes and do the same basic configuration what we have done for domain. Connect. Guys who are doing the local setup, also make sure you are choosing the right name, because when you build the server, it gives you some weird name, win 2rm hyphen something like that. Okay, so rename the servers properly first, then only go ahead. Local server, IPv4. So guys, Srinivas has connected to database and Sccm, and he is doing the basic setup, like Windows update should not be through internet, it should be from Sccm. IPv6 is disabled and IE enhanced security is turned off. Yes. Now let's go back to our domain and check what is the status now. Yes. Now you see, guys, we have installed Active Directory domain services. Now we can promote this server as a domain controller. So click on that, promote this server to a domain controller. And the first option which says add a domain controller to an existing domain. We don't have any existing domain. Second option, existing forest. We don't have anything. So we'll go with the third option, root domain name. Anything of your choice. I would suggest to go with pepsi.com just for the namesake. So that's going to be our domain name. Functional level 2012 R2 is fine. We will also have our DNS on the same server. And this is the DS. This password you need to use during the, if you are restoring Active Directory, your Active Directory is crashed, and at that point of time you need to restore it. So the same password you need to use. So next. Yeah, you can ignore this warning for DNS. Yeah. Now the NetBIOS name. NetBIOS is a program which helps multiple computers to talk to each other. This was an old technology from Microsoft, which is already replaced by DNS. Yeah. Next. These are the location for your files to be saved: database, log, and sysvol folder. Next. These are the options which you have selected. Next. Now it is checking whether this server can be created as domain controller or not. It's verifying all the prerequisite. So all prerequisite checks passed successfully. You can just hit install to begin with installation of our domain controller. Clear, guys? So our domain controller is getting ready. Now, in the meantime, what I would like you to do is, Srinivas, you can download Windows Server 2012 R2 ISO file in Sccm. So I have sent one email to you, to everyone actually.
Okay.
You have the link. Go to your email, copy the link from there. Oh, you cannot go to Gmail, right?
Yeah. Anyway, 60 minutes is there. I can go.
Okay. You can use copy the first one, Windows Server 2012 R2. Yes, the first one. Yes. Link. Copy the link address. Right
Yeah, link
click.
icon.
Okay. Copy link address. Copy link address. Yes. Let's go to the domain control, Sccm. Yes, open a browser here. You are on Sccm, right?
Yes.
Okay. Paste your link here. Enter. Now download. Click on download, but download in one folder. Create one folder in C drive. Um, yeah, you can create one folder called lab files. So whatever the setup files we will download, we'll put all of them here in this location. Choose this location to download anyway, and save as. When it comes, do save as and choose the location. Now you can also start downloading SQL database in SQL server. So we'll keep the setup ready. Yes. You can create one folder here as well, lab files in database in C drive. You need to copy the link address. So we are downloading SQL Server 2014 SP1 ISO setup. SP2, sorry. SQL Server 2014 SP2 ISO. Okay. Now let's go back to your Sccm and verify the download process. 2.98 gigabyte is done. So I think within few 2-3 minutes it will be completed. Then you can download the Sccm setup, or you can start the setup downloading now as well. Start downloading the third one. Yes, VMware is not needed. VMware is needed for the local people who are going to set up the local lab. Copy Sccm, paste it there. Paste. Download. Save as. Choose same location. Yeah, save. Okay, now let's go back to your domain.
I think it is after that it went offline.
Yeah, domain got restarted because it created the domain controller and auto restarted. You need to join it to the domain again. But this time you need to use the domain account. So Pepsi/Srinivas and the password, because you have created the domain controller. Okay, very good. Now, the very first requirement is to join all the computers to domain. Okay. To do that, what you need to do is you need to set up the local DNS server. Currently, the DNS server is the Azure provided DNS server. Okay, but we don't want that one. So shut down this box. Shut down this Active Directory. Sorry, a domain controller box. Shut down. Now let's go to Azure portal. At the left hand side, go to click on domain. Click on domain. You have domain there, right? No, at the right hand side. Yeah. We need to take the IP address. What IP address domain has taken? So that's the public IP. We don't want public IP. We want the private IP, the local IP, the LAN IP actually. Click on networking. At the left hand side, you have right in the middle section, you have networking. Yes. Okay, so the private IP is 10.0.0.4. Okay, this is the IP given to domain. Okay, let's go to virtual network at the left hand side, extreme left. Yes, virtual network below, virtual network. Yes. In here, click on Pepsi VNet. This is your LAN network wherein all the computers are connected to this Pepsi VNet. Okay, and go to DNS server. Custom. Choose custom. You see the DNS server is Azure provided, the internet one. We don't want internet. We want the local DNS because we created our DNS server, right? So all the computers will point to that local DNS rather than internet DNS, so that they can communicate to other devices internally. So paste the IP address there. Yeah, 0.0.4. That's the DNS server which we have created. Save. Click on save. Clear? Anyone has any question in this? Okay. Now let's go back to virtual machine and turn on your wait for a few seconds until you get the successful message. Click on this bell icon. Yes, successfully saved. Yes. Now turn on your domain. Start. Yes, because that is shut down at the moment, right? Now restart your database and Sccm so that the new DNS server will be replicated. They will be currently they are pointing it to the Azure DNS, which we don't want that to happen. We want them to point it to the local DNS. So restart them so that they can communicate to the local DNS and join them to the domain controller, as in join them to domain. Restart. Connect.
Can I log in with domain or general login?
Which one?
Oh, SCM
Which
Azure.
server is this? No,
SCM.
because you cannot log in because you need to first join it to the domain. Have you
Yes.
joined Sccm to the domain? Not yet,
Yeah, no,
right?
not that.
Now log in with your local account first, and then join the Sccm and database to the domain controller. Change domain pepsi.com. Hmm. So join the database to the domain. Okay. Now, so far what we have done, we have created our domain controller and joined the devices to domain, right?
Yeah.
So let me share my screen so that you can just a quick recap what we did. So actually we needed to do some more step, but we have performed so far. So we created virtual servers, right? Domain, SCCM, and database. We have given the name static IP, firewall, rebooted. So these are basically needed for local lab setup. That's also okay. We install Active Directory domain services, and on domain and promoted that to a domain controller. And the name of the domain we have chosen is pepsi.com and joined all the computers, all the devices to domain. So far we have done till here. Okay, guys. Any confusion, any question before we wrap it up for today? Vikram, Raghavendra, you guys are okay,
No
clear?
questions.
As
I'm installing servers.
okay. So for local setup, you first need to install VMware Workstation. VMware Workstation is the licensed one. I have given you the key as well in that zip folder. So you need to use the key to activate the application, and then you have to have a setup like this one, VMware Workstation Pro. And Srinivas, if you when you are done, you need to stop the server. Okay, shutting down is
Yeah,
not
sure.
sufficient. You need to check all the boxes and click on stop. Okay, and
Yeah.
also make a note of your username, password, email address, what you have created today.
Yeah.
Now, guys who are going on local setup, they need to do the step like this. Create one Windows Server 2012 R2, and the name can be DC or domain, and give 2 GB of RAM to DC. One processor is okay. 60 GB of hard disk. Then you have to create another server that's 2 GB of RAM. For Sccm, give 4 GB if you have good amount of memory. 4 GB of RAM, one processor. Okay, and you create one more server called database. Okay, so something like DB here, and 4 GB of RAM, not 1 GB for DB. Okay, and create one Windows 7 machine, um, Win 7, something like this kind of setup you need to do, and make sure you have kept all of them on a same LAN network. So you can choose one of the LAN networks for either custom VNet, any one of them, and put the static IP if you don't have the DHCP server there. Any question, guys, who are going to do on local lab setup?
The IP range 192.168.0.1 or like that, or is there any specific?
Well, no specific. You can take that one, or for simplicity, you can take something like 10.10.10.10.10 for domain, right? This can be for domain. Then 10.10.10.11. This is for SCCM, right? 10.10.10.12. This can be for database. 10.10.10.13. This can be for client machine. Okay. Subnet you can take 255.0.0.0. Subnet. Clear, guys?
Yep.
Any question? Vikram, you good?
No, yeah.
Okay, so for when we meet tomorrow, I want you guys to speed up and create all the local setup, like 3 servers, and create the domain controller, join them to the domain, put them on the same LAN network. So from tomorrow we will be doing the further steps. So we will have our, for next setup ready from tomorrow onwards. Clear, guys?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, guys. So thank you for joining this session. I hope this session was informative. We'll meet again tomorrow, same time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye, guys.
Right.